Good morning, everybody. Laura Armstrong here from Leadership with Laura. Welcome to our Thursday morning session on the Diamond Factor with Barbara Beckley, Diamond Factor show with Barbara Beckley. I'm here every week at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I talk about leadership and communication. So as a three-time world champion martial artist, I know what it means to get to the top of your game, be there, and how to be the best in the world at what you do. And I've taken all of those skills of 30 years and put them into my leadership courses and programs so that I get people to step into the next level of their success and up-level their skills in their communication, in their business, and in their leadership. And today we're going to be talking about who's your accountability partner. So first of all, let's talk about accountability partners. So excuse me, when we talk about that, when I was younger, I'd be like, I don't need an accountability partner. I know what I need to do. But what I didn't realize at the time was that accountability partners they don't just tell you, it's not about them telling you what they do. It's about actually collaborating with someone. And I think a lot of the time in our business, and I was giving a class yesterday on this, we feel like we're alone and we don't have anybody to lean on, right? And especially the last couple of years, this has become something of an issue. So I think what people really need to do is realize that having an accountability partner actually makes you stronger. Okay, so not only will you be able to collaborate with them, but they're going to drive you and inspire you, and you are going to do the same for them. And so it becomes this really good, trusted partnership. So let's go over a few of the qualities that you're looking for in an accountability partner. So first of all, it's someone that you have to be able to communicate well with and have the same, pretty much the same work ethic as you. It's really important to understand that when you're working with someone like that you two jive, right? So for instance, I have 3 accountability partners. I now have one. And the reason is because I outgrew them and they outgrew me, right? So they moved off to other tangents. We got what we needed from each other. We supported each other. We still do to this day, but not to the level that we do. So when you're looking for an accountability partner, you want someone who's got the same mindset as you, okay? They don't have to be in the same business as you, and that you're able to communicate with them easily. And the other thing is that you both have goals that are achievable that the other person knows about, so they know how to motivate you, right? And you're always keeping that connection. Now, the other thing you want to look at is what is your availability. So you want to try and meet or actually connect at least once a week, right? At some point, at one point I was doing like once a day just to check in, but that became kind of redundant. So we did once every couple days and then once a week. And you kind of know when the relationship is kind of shifting. So, just go with that, right? So, for instance, the one accountability partner, I still talk to her. I still see her. She's stepped up into her business, right? And the other part of that was on the personal side, she was living by herself while all this was going on in the world. So she really needed someone to back her up and make her feel like she wasn't alone and that she could talk to. So, there's more than one way to have an accountability partner. It serves as a conduit for communication, but also a conduit for creating friendships, right? And trusted partner relationships. She's given me good referrals and I try to do the same for her, right? So it becomes about so much more than just checking in with someone. All right. So that's kind of what you're looking for in an accountability partner. So the second thing is, what do you want to talk about? Right. So like I said, the first thing you're going to talk about is getting clear on what each other's goals are and what the role is that you're going to play in that. Maybe that person's going to say, I need you to make sure like I'm on track this week. Can you check in with me? Can you ask me? Right? You don't want it to be a babysitting service, but you can help her, her or him be accountable to what you do. Right? So it's really important that that when you guys are working together, that you know what their goals are and what they want to get out of the relationship, and vice versa. So you need to tell them the same thing, right? There's nothing more inspiring than someone saying, hey, I know we talked about this. How's it going? And you're like, oh man, I had such a rough week. I couldn't get to it. No problem. Are we on track for next week, right? Everybody has off weeks, especially now, right? So you just have to be spaced for that, okay? And the good thing about accountability partners is, as a person, you're going to start, it helps with you stopping the judgment, not just about others, but about yourself. Because you're seeing other people struggling, what they're going through. And so you know that you're not alone in that, right? And I think, I think this is kind of like a deep subject to get into on a Thursday morning, but it's really important that you really learn not to judge yourself and just know that you're in the right space you need to be in for what you're doing. Okay. And it's okay. The world is not going to end, at least not today, right? So just know that, every morning you have a fresh start, right? So get with your accountability partner about that, and, the other thing too is you can let them know if you've got, things going on the side. Like, I tend to have a little bit of depression, or I'm really hard on myself. They're there to pick you up, and you're there to pick them up. That's why accountability partners are so powerful. And I'm telling you, it's an underutilized skill. Not everybody uses accountability partners because they're afraid of the judgment, right? They're afraid of the judgment, or they don't have time. There's always excuses. But the fact of the matter is, accountability partners can change your lives. And sometimes they become lifelong friends, right? So that's a little bit about what you want to be talking to your accountability partner. So the third thing, and I kind of touched on this, is how often do you want to be connecting with them? So like I said, it can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be, monthly, whatever it is that you want, right? But I think that you both have to agree on that because, you're both probably busy people, and you want to make sure, right, that you have the time to connect, right? Even if it's a 2-second on, WhatsApp or something, like, hey, just wanted to say hi, see how you're doing. It can be very quick. And the thing is, if you're going to add in things like brainstorming sessions, goal setting sessions, those kind of things, you're going to have to schedule times for that. So like, we were checking in every day with one of my accountability partners, and then once a month we would have like a Zoom call face to face. And it just gave that extra level of connection that I was looking for, right? So in leadership, remember, it's never about you, first of all, and you wouldn't be in leadership if there was nobody following you, right? So remember that it's the people that are following you that have created who you are, right? And you do the work on yourself. And bringing an accountability partner into that just makes it that much more powerful, right? So it's really important to be clear about that. Now, the kind of the next thing I want to go on to is like, how do you communicate, right? So I've had different ways that we communicate, and none of them, and I can tell you, are on the phone because nobody gets on the phone about that kind of stuff. It's either by text, okay? WhatsApp is a great place, to connect with people just quickly. You can also do phone calls on there. There's something called Viber, Viber, that I've used before. Email is good. Any social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. Twitter's more about tweeting out to people, but Instagram and Facebook have great messenger apps in them. So they're great to communicate with. Whatever it is, make sure that you've got your mode of communication set, so you're not talking on 5 different things and it's confusing, right? So make sure, let's connect on WhatsApp and that's it. Okay. Otherwise it's going to turn into like a ridiculous show of like, where do we talk, right? So just be clear about that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about today, we're going to keep it a little bit shorter than normal, is setting the parameters of where you want things to go, right? So when I talked about whoever your accountability partner is, setting goals, make sure that you've got milestones within those goals and they know what those are, right? So on this date, I'm going to do this. Right? And you hit that date, and that other person, your accountability partner, say, hey, remember we talked about this? How's it going? Did you hit the date? Right? And be accountable to them. That's why they're your accountability partner, right? Just say, no, okay, so you didn't hit it. So what do we need to look at? What do we need to do to get you there? What are you missing? right? And then you start to brainstorm, right? So accountability partners are just kind of like little gems that you can use and have as a part of your life, right? They really do bring a depth of understanding and um, collaboration to your business and your life, right? And I think it's really important to take advantage of that because people want to help other people. They want to collaborate. I can tell you that some of my best business was done through collaboration. So when I talk to people, I'm like, okay, what's your strength? Like, what do you do? Right. And then I think about what I do and I think, how can we mesh the two together? Right. To make it a powerful synergy in partnership that can be offered out, not just to corporate, but to, entrepreneurs or anybody else. Right. So I think it's just really important to make sure that um, it's the right person for you. And I'm going to really stress that because I've been in a couple I've had a couple accountability partners where it wasn't the best fit and it kind of fizzled out really quickly. You're going to know if it's a good person or not. So, my question to you is, who is your accountability partner? And, I would be making a list. This is how it happened for me. Who are the people in my life that I think will, who are my peers or maybe even above me in, business or whatever, who would actually spend some time with me and work together with me. Right. And surprisingly, it was a lot of people that I really had a high opinion of that were willing to work with me because they thought I had something they wanted, right? And if you're not sure how other people view you, ask them. Ask your peers, right? Because I think a lot of the time we just get in our everyday and we just blah blah blah, we just move along, right? And sometimes we need that reality check. Like, you watch me teach leadership. What did you think of that? Right? Like, what do you think of me as a teacher? What did you think of my content? Right? Was it effective? Right? Get their opinion. They're going to be honest with you. They're not, they're just going to say, yeah, I thought it was really good, but this could have been improved. And, ask them to give you not criticism, but constructive feedback. Because for me, I'm always looking to improve. So I want to hear about what I have to change and what can be better. Right? Otherwise, I'm going to get stuck in the mindset of like, I've got it all done. I've got it perfect. No, you don't. You can always be improving. Right? And that's where we look inwardly to our self-growth. And having an accountability partner actually makes you do that. Right? Because right now, in person, it's starting to open up, but it's been, virtual for a very long time now. Right? And, if you're going to meet your accountability partners in person, great. Right? Nothing's better than a face-to-face, right? So be prepared to have those conversations. Take notes. Make sure you guys are clear about what the boundaries are when you're working together, what you want out of the relationship, what they want out of the relationship, and make sure that there's a good synergy there, because if there's not, it's just not going to work, right? So like I said, I think accountability partners are a very powerful tool that you can use in your business to not only bring yourself to the next level, but help others do the same, especially your accountability partner, right? And, sometimes there are accountability groups as well. So, if that's a good fit for you instead of a one-on-one, you can do that. There are a lot of mastermind groups out there. Sometimes I find with bigger groups, you can get lost in the shuffle. That's why I like the one-on-one better. So it works probably better for me. So let's talk about, so that's a little bit about accountability partners. And so I want to talk about, yesterday I was talking about self-assessment, right, in your business, right? And this kind of connects with accountability partners. So how do you self-assess, right? Like, do you look at where you are and where you want to be, and how often do you do that? Because I think a lot of the time in our business, we need to have that bigger picture view where we look down on our business and say, okay, this needs to improve. We don't want to be down in the weeds about our business all the time. And when you're working with an accountability partner, the good thing is that they tend to keep you above that. They'll recognize that you're doing that because they're not in it. They're just part of it with you, right? So it's really important to make sure about that. So when you self-assess, do you think, okay, I'm where I want to be? No, I'm not. So I need to change my timeline. Timeline is key. Okay. So have your timeline, look at it regularly, know when you're getting behind on things, know when you're moving ahead faster, and adjust. Okay. The second thing that you can look at here is, do you use, what's your mindset around your work? And this is a whole other class I could do just on its own. But are you having a positive mindset about it? Are you having a success mindset, a growth mindset? All of those things will contribute to you moving forward in your business and working with your accountability partner. Because if you don't, you're going to get stuck, right? And getting stuck is not where we want to be, right? So make sure that not only you, but your partner has that success mindset, positive mindset, and a growth mindset, so that they're willing to see what comes along that can actually make them better and embrace that. Okay. And the last thing is, do you use self-talk? And the days are long gone when you would walk by someone on the street and they're talking to themselves and you think, oh, they're just a little loopy. Actually, no, it's normal now, right? So they could be talking on their cell phone. I talk to myself a lot. I'm like, okay, Laura, you got this, right? Especially when just before I get on stage, I give myself a talk. I'm like, you got this. You're going to inspire people. You're going to give them what they need. They're going to, leave the theater, being better people because of what they heard from you, right? And so you can talk to yourself, and especially if you look in the mirror when you do it, and this sounds kind of crazy, but it works, right? You look in the mirror, and if you can look in the mirror, look right in your eyes and say, I love you so much, right? To yourself. And I can't tell you how many people have a hard time doing that, right? If you can do that in the mirror, there's nothing that's going to stop you, because you really love who you are and mean it, right? So let's start there with that, right? So it can be easy, to kind of dart your eyes away. But when you really look at yourself and look in your eyes and say that, you are on the road to success, not only for yourself and your personal growth, but actually in your business and your leadership as well. All right, so that's a little bit about who your accountability partner is. I just want to let you guys know to please check me out at leadershipwithlaura.com. You can also reach out to me at laura@leadershipwithlaura.com. I am on Clubhouse in the Leadership Warrior Room. So please join me in the room. It's going to be great. And there's something else I want to talk about quickly before we finish up. Please take advantage of my 3-day leadership offering. It's absolutely free. So it's a 3-day leadership challenge. You can take advantage of it. Go to leadershipwithlaura.com/3, the number 3, the word day, LC, and you'll be able to download that, take advantage of it. On the first day, I talked to you about who would you be if you were the world champion of your business? If you were the best in the world at what you do, what would that look like? Day 2, we talk about, recognizing your roadblocks. What might be getting in the way of you moving forward in your business and your leadership? And day 3 is where you are now, right? What does everything look like for you right now? So now you have the path to where you want to go to be the best in the world, and what might be getting in your way and how to remove those things. So it's going to give you the path to success and recognizing what those roadblocks may be. And then that leads to removing them. And that's what everybody wants. So get on there, leadershipwithlaura.com /3-day LC, and you'll be able to sign up for that and have that come in your inbox. And I can guarantee you that it's really going to help you step into the next level of your business. I look forward to talking to all of you next week when we talk about what is special about you and what do you have to offer. And we're going to dive deep about how to recognize those traits that you have that are special, and how what you have to offer connects with you, why it works for you. And we're going to tie that into your UVP, your mission, and your vision. Okay. And how you present your offer will also come into what we're going to be talking about. All right, everybody. So I will see you next week. Join me next week at Thursday on the Diamond Show experience with Barbara Beckley at 9 a.m. Eastern. I will see you there. Have a great week, everyone, and talk to you soon. Take care.
Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma is so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running. 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada, and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Good morning, and good morning. How are we doing? We're doing. So, wait a minute. I have to say, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because, and this is the part I love, because we're global. So I don't know if you're in the evening time eating dinner or having lunch or just having breakfast, well, I'm having breakfast right now, but it is morning. So wonderful. Welcome. If you're just tuning in and if you just missed an awesome expert that comes on every Thursday, Miss Laura Armstrong, the wonderful, incredible Laura Armstrong, and the queen, as I always call all the ladies, but she is a queen. If you missed it, you better do a replay. That's all I have to say. You better do a replay. And please, I always ask, support our experts that come on. They come on every week and they give from their heart, their value that they give, that a lot of times people are paying for. Most of the time they are. But they're coming on this show to make sure that, that you understand if it's leadership, if it's marketing, if it's regarding your finances. We do the whole gamut here. And sometimes just to motivate you. I'm kind of that personal development motivator / visibility person. But there's other people that come on and do the same thing too. But we all come together on this show to make sure that you're getting those aspects in your life to grow, especially in your business if you have a business. So Laura, thank you always for coming on and just giving your heart, your soul, and your time and your value that you have all the time when it comes to leadership. And when she basically, I wanted to let everybody know too, just getting my notes here, that talking about motivation. Oh, no, going back to Laura about supporting. So she is on a lot of different platforms, and Clubhouse is one of them. As we all know, Clubhouse is like the new, the new. It's still kind of new, even some people still not use it the way they should. But I always tell people, whatever you use, I don't care if it's Clubhouse, Facebook page, whatever you have. Now I'm going into my little coaching here, that you strategically do it. You strategically work towards what you're trying to do. You have a goal and you're going after whatever you're trying to do on that platform, that particular goal. Because a lot of times people just throw themselves into whatever, and at last minute they're like, I don't know why I'm doing it because somebody told me to do it. That's a no-no. If I hear anybody that say, well, I do it because somebody else told me to do it. Well, that wouldn't do the old saying, well, if they just told you to jump off a cliff, would you jump? So you want to make sure that you're not jumping off of cliffs anywhere that you should be. You should be jumping and on a parachute thing going, flying and just like an eagle, not just jumping to be jumping. And then, what that happens if you just jump. So with that said, make sure that you're strategically doing what you do. And on that note, we have just going to another awesome queen. I love when I do my interviews with these queens that come on, because you learn so much. You learn so much from people and what their lives are from the beginning to the end and where they're at right now. I always tell people, when I bring people on, I like to hear their stories, hear where they went through, because they're a lighthouse. Every story that a person has is a lighthouse to the world for others, because the connection, you never know who you're connecting with. So we have a wonderful queen coming on, Miss Amelia Starr. Oh my gosh, she is, okay, here's the list. That's why I'm excited. She's an inspirational, and I love this. And I want to add this to it. She's probably gonna be like, you just added stuff to my bio, Barbara. She's an inspirational and achieves transformation. See, it's all about transformation. And when you inspire anybody, when you motivate anybody, if you could put that little aha moment in them, you are starting their transformation in life from one extreme to the next. So yes, Starr, Miss Queen, you are a transformational speaker. You're an award-winning author, award-winning, and 20 years in the business writing. And she has a whole glam of other stuff, but I don't want to stop that. I want to stop that because I want her to tell you, not me. Okay, it's not all about me here. It's about this queen here. So we're going to go straight to a quick, really quick of our sponsors. And when we come back, she will be gracing us with her presence. Hello, and good morning. Uh-oh, I can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Oh, no sound. Oh, no. I can't hear you. So well, first of all, while she's working on that, look at how beautiful she is. I love the queens. They come out and they just shine shining like the diamonds, as I always say. Oh, there we go. I hear it. Here we come. There she go,
Is that
Queen.
better?
That's much better.
Oh man.
You remind me of me. I do the same thing. I'm like, dang, gotta put
Well,
that thing on.
I know. Well, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, lady, and thank you for being grace. Well, first of all, coming on the stage, gracing the stage. I always say when I have, especially women that come on and I interview, it's a gift to me. And I said, okay, I'll be selfish for this 1 minute because I love bringing on the women to make sure that first of all, you get all of that good stuff from people to say, hey, she is awesome, amazing. It's about the visibility. It's about people getting to know you, build a relationship, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, agree. So they have to get to know the queens, and I bring them on the show. So that's why I always say it's a little bit of for me to just that's the gift to me, but it's also a bigger gift to the audience to hear who you are, your voice, what you do, and how you do it, and why you do it. You know, it's all about that. But I wanted to first tell everybody again, if they're just tuning in, because I know some people tune in the middle, you are here at the Diamond Experience show with Barbara Beckley and special, wonderful queen guest. Is it Amelia Starr? I just want to make sure I say it right.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful name, beautiful name. When I seen Amelia, I said, "Oh, if I had a daughter, I would have named her Amelia." I'm serious. That's a pretty name. And you
Thank
get all
you.
those average names, you find something that's special like that. You say, "Oh, I could name my daughter that." That's beautiful. So,
Aw.
Mrs. Amelia, I want to first start off. First, I know I mentioned about all the accolades and everything that you do. And I want to first start off by saying where you're from. For one thing, I know that you're from. Are you from Chicago or?
No, no. Miss Barbara, I want to, before we get started, just thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. It is an honor and a privilege. So hats off to you and all that you do. Certainly you are the queen of queens. With that being said, I am from, gee, what will I say today? I say that because I'm from everywhere. I was born in, I was born in Pennsylvania. I was reared in Virginia, and I've been everywhere. And as of right now, I reside in Florida.
Oh, you were right when you said you're everywhere. That's awesome. Pennsylvania, Virginia, and then now you're is stationed right here. You're in Florida right now.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
How's the weather out there right now? Is it kind of?
It's Florida. You know, I'm a northerner. I love the cold. I love the season changes. And so I guess it's cold for Florida.
Well, you would love here because I live in Wisconsin.
Ooh,
Uh,
yes.
and it's like, what do we have right now? We got like 40 degrees right now, and it's kind of gray like outside with the clouds. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't like the gray, but I
yeah.
do like
I don't
the
like the gray part. Yeah,
right.
yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool now. But it's funny because just the other day, 2 days ago, it was 75 degrees. Now we're down to 40. So that's the part that I don't like,
Mm,
the up and down, and it kind of
mhm.
messes with allergies and a whole bunch of other stuff. But you deal with it, right? You deal with it.
Yes.
So when you said Florida, I'm like, oh, and then when you were like, I'm like, well, go on the different end of the spectrum. Not like it. It's okay. I get it. Well, thanks, Queen. So let's just get right into it because like I said, I always tell people you see a person, they're doing all this stuff, you're creating an impact in the world, you're the speaker, you're doing all these things, but it took something to get to that point. So can you just take us a little backstory of who really Amelia came to be?
Wow. Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to share. My birth name is Amelia Love Starr. So I wore that as, oh, the scarlet letter. Oh my goodness. You know, just growing up, number one, you love Amelia. I thought Amelia was a grandma's name. Okay. I am yet to be a grandma. So I'm embracing it, but I thought, geez, couldn't you think of anything else? Love, it's all right, right? And then Star, that is the amazing part. Um, because my mother's last name is Corbett. My
Mm.
father's last name was Stooks. So how did I get Star? Well, back when I was born, there was no, I guess there was no checks and balances. And my mom said I was born at night and she looked up and there you go. So, I always felt as though I had no meaning, like, Mom, really? You couldn't give me your name? You couldn't, and so I wore it as kind of, uh, embarrassing, right? Like I don't fit in. I don't belong. Um,
Mm.
I was her first child, and so she had me what was young in the 70s, which was 18. And so back then, um, you were considered um, less than when you had a child out of wedlock. And so you kind of gave that child to your parent to take care of while you continue to pursue your life and try to get things quote unquote right. So, um, that also, made me think, man, she didn't even keep me. I'm with my grandma and, I don't have anybody's name. And so all of those things contribute to who I am now. As you see, I embrace and I am a star, like by by purpose, right? So I believe that it was divinely inspired. I believe that my mom had no clue of what she was doing,
Mm.
because now I embrace a star. Because when you think of a star, you have to be in the darkness to see it, right?
Mhm.
And the star illuminates. The star is what someone looks at in awe, right? It inspires. And so I begin to embrace that name, a star. I'm no
Mm.
longer ashamed because I am different. All stars are unique. So I embrace my uniqueness and I am standing before you today as a star and I motivate others. It's not what you're called, it's what you answer to and what you embrace.
Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. It's funny how we start because I mean I think about my name and I'm like Barbara. I wasn't too happy about that either at the beginning when I was younger. But you never know what is put the foundation is building, and you don't even understand that until you start growing into it and you start seeing it. And you look back and you're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
why. This is why where the star and everything came from. And yes, it fits you to a T because you are illuminating
Thank
everywhere,
you.
everywhere, lady. You are illuminating everywhere. Now I know that because I know you've been writing. It was been like over 20 years ago, and now you're this brilliant author. So what made you start doing that?
Wow, I've been writing forever, it seems as though. I believe that I was writing before I knew how to write, to be very honest. Now they don't teach cursive. My children learn cursive. Um, but I was fascinated with that. And I remember wanting to, it was kind of like art. I wanted to form those letters. And then as I got older, well, in school they teach you synonyms and homonyms. And I thought, wow, to me, it was euphoric, that you can say this word, but I can say that word. And it means the same thing. And this is a little girl, so um, I wasn't much for um, trying to outsmart or use the multi-syllable words, but just that, there were things that meant the same thing and it fascinated me. And so as I grew older, I began to keep journals. That was the thing when I was growing up. In your pocketbook, you had your address book because, we didn't have cell phones. And we had our journal with our little key. And that was important. And so I wrote in my journal and I've been, as I would call it, I have been hmm, a little slick mouth. my
Mm.
entire life. I can't think of a better word right now. So, as the teachers, they didn't like that. They didn't like you questioning them and back talking. That was not allowed. But you couldn't tell me what I could write. So I would just write in
Mm.
there, with your wrong color stockings on. Who you think you are talking to me? And I would just write and write and write. And we weren't allowed to pass notes in class, but I could always write because they didn't know if I was writing my assignment what I was doing. And so I just fell in love with writing. And once I got to the collegiate level, I began to see that, you know what? This is easy for me. You're struggling with what? Oh, I can help you. Because I enjoy it so much. And I began to see that, oh, I think I have a gift here. I think that I can do this. But it wasn't until after school um, that I began to go through life and understand, like I explained previously, that I have a story. And
Mhm.
like you said, that it's a lighthouse. And I believe, as you do, that we all have a story, whether you want to call it a testimony, whether you want to call it a story. We are all here. We all have a purpose. And as we go throughout life, I believe that it's our job to tell our story so that others don't fall into maybe the traumas and the traps that we have, so that they can go further and do more. Um, and so, with that being said, I am blessed with three marvelous children. Um, but of course, there's always a story. The doctor said that I never have any. And I was nurtured that my purpose was to cook, to clean, and to have babies. Now you
Mm.
get yourself a little career in case your husband dies first. But your job is to tell me I would not be able to have children was just heartbreaking. So I understand the importance of career, but that's not the way I was raised. Mind you, my grandmother did most of my rearing. And so when God blessed me with my first son, I just knew there was miracles. I knew that there was a purpose, and you couldn't tell me anything was impossible because I got this baby. I mean, he's real. And so, and then as life continued to go on, I kept having more and more things where it looked like it was dark, but then boom, the star would come out. And so after my third child, I began to realize I'm the matriarch. Me?
Mm.
Like I'm the oldest one? Jeez, I better get this together. And so with that, I decided, because I've been writing and I've been journaling and I have been enjoying it and I've been writing for others. And I decided, it's time for me to tell my story. Not even understanding how liberating it was, not understanding how many others I'd be able to inspire and, like you said, transform and help, but simply just wanting my children to know where they come from. Because thank God I was able to provide for them in such a way that it seems as though my beginning was so far behind. Um, what I'm saying is, my mother was a prostitute. My
Mm.
dad was her pimp. They both were addicts. My
Wow.
children don't know nothing about that life. They don't know that life. You know, thank goodness they don't. But I wanted them to understand the sacrifices that were made and where you come from. And do not ever look down on,
Yes. Yes.
because we all come from somewhere. And where you are today is because of what has happened in our past. And they didn't see that because, like I said, I haven't been able to show that. And that's what I started out my debut book as, a memoir for my children. God forbid, if I was not here, there's no one that can tell my story. I do have siblings, a sister and a brother. But remember, I was the one that was born out of wedlock. I was the
Mm.
first. So they even don't have the experience that I had. And so I wanted my children to know. And that's what birthed the many facets of a star, purifying truths.
Ooh. Oh my God, lady. Well, I gotta sit in that just for a second. Don't tell y'all take that little pause and just be like, just again.
Yes.
Ooh. See, this is just confirmation again for me why I bring on ladies like you on this show. Just such a ooh, okay. Let me go back. I gotta get myself together. I'm loving the biggest thing that I love too is that you being vulnerable and open to tell your story. People need to hear your story. I'm talking about you. I mean, everybody need to tell their story, but right now we're talking about you and how you put together your memoirs and say, you know what, I have to do this. This is a must. This is not just I'm just writing a book. I'm just not putting pen to paper, just writing. This is something that's been ingrained in you, Amelia, for way a little girl to up now. I mean, just listen to your whole story so you can put it out there. And like I said before, to be that light, not just for your children, but for the children's children. And for everybody out there to understand that, hey, I came from this back. This is what happened. But guess what? You don't have to be the person that other person was. See, we don't have to be our parents. And even if they went through what they went, because they have their stories and why they the certain ways they, certain things they turned out. So we're not going to bash them or nothing for that. But they had to go through what they went through. You see what they went through and what they had to deal with. And then they made sure or what happened that, now moving forward, you have moved to a level where you said, look, I'm going to change this scenario. I'm going to change this. And you have. So again, I have to give you so much kudos for that and for coming out in a, like I said, putting it in your memoirs so people can see and say, hey, maybe I'm dealing with this. Maybe, that's where that connection comes in there because you never know what a person's going through. Never know. On the outside, we look, as we always say, what we look, we look nice, we got our makeup, all this stuff on, but in the inside, you don't know what we dealt with to get to this point. So that's why I always, love to hear those backstories of what you went through. So, just a rebirthing, it seemed like just of everything that you dealt with. Wow. So now the book, has that just came out or is it coming out?
No, it actually came out right before COVID.
Oh, okay.
And we're still promoting. It's still selling. It's amazing. That's what, I wrote, like I said, for my children. I wanted something that, that they could have to learn from and know their legacy. And as of 2 days ago, I saw that it is still selling. I know many people come out, and I'm not, I'm an indie author, so, and I'm not a celebrity yet, but I come out and I see that it just trickles and trickles, and the testimonials and the reviews. I am just amazed.
Yeah.
And when you come out and tell your story, what you find is that you're not alone. There's so many others that thought, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Because when you connect with me personally before the book, and maybe even after, just depending, because I call it the many facets, because, I don't wear the big scarlet letter anymore, right? So you look at me, you're like, oh my goodness, you're this, you're that, you did this. But never do you say, oh my goodness, you poor thing. But when you read the book, you're like, wow, you did. Because thank God I don't look like what he's brought me through. And because he's brought me through it, I can inspire others because people look at me like, what? You did what? What? You was where? You know about? Yes. You don't have to be in the hood to understand the hood. It can be a transition point. Oh, I don't do this and I don't. Okay, maybe you don't. But for those of us that have, we didn't have to stay there. And I'm the lighthouse that shows that you can get out.
Yeah.
It can be a stepping stone. You don't have to have generations after generations after generations. You can indeed be the change.
Yeah.
And it's not as hard or impossible as you think it is when you step out and you see that there's others that have done it. And that's what I'm here to show the world is that it's not that hard. I've done it. And I've done it without, the coaching, without the role models. Honestly, I'm a trailblazer. It's just, as I said, I'm the matriarch. I'm figuring this out as I go. And what I learn, I love to impart to others, because if I had have only had someone to show me, and I don't want the next generation to say if, I want the next generation to say she or he or whoever it is that inspires you has showed me.
Mm. Well, first of all, I need to go just back when you said, well, I'm not really a celebrity yet. And I'm like, no, I have to say this. I do this. So you're going to get to know me a little bit. You are a celebrity in the eyes of people that you are doing that transformation in their lives.
I
You might
agree.
be that only celebrity that they see and say, wow,
Yes.
she showed me the way to where I need to go, or she showed me that my story, I don't have to be a victim. I can be, how the old saying, be victorious in it. So yes, you are a celebrity in people's lives because, again, you're changing their thoughts. You're giving them aha moments.
Understood. And I agree with you.
Yes, yes. So
Absolutely.
now I know it's called fastest. I want to make sure everybody, okay, I'm telling this, I'm talking to the audience now. You need to buy Amelia Starr's book, Facets of a Star, Purifying Truths, and hold it up high. Hold it up high,
Let me
lady.
see, girl.
My copy, there you go. My copy is still coming. I wanted to hold up with her, and I'm like, dang, it can't even come yet. So it's probably gonna come tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, really? You know what that means? That means I gotta bring it back on the show.
Okay.
That's what that means, if you don't
Yes.
mind. But yeah, so please, this wonderful author, this inspirational, transformational speaker, and just a loving queen woman in the world that's making an impact on others. Please support her. Buy the book. It's going to change your life. It is definitely going to change your life. And you're going to look at things in a different way. You're going to say to yourself, wow, thank you for bringing me back. Thank you for making me think. Now, Amelia, now I was just going to ask you before we close out. I want to do two things. First, a question about being that author. If people are out there, just thinking about, what, I want to kind of write a book, or maybe there's something on my mind. If you just give them one tip for them, and then I'm going to take myself down just for 30 seconds, and I just want you to, just to have any closing remarks. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you. One tip. Right. 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 Don't quit. Right. You don't know what you're writing today will do for you when you reread it next week, next month. You may not be in the stage of publishing yet. You may not even have all your thoughts organized, but write, put it down so you can go back and reflect on it. And it will encourage you to continue to write. I believe it's therapeutic. Even if you never publish, it is therapeutic.
I
That's
love
my
it. I
tip.
love it. Okay, so I'm going to take you down. I'm going to be down for 30 seconds, and I want you to close out with whatever comes to your heart for the audience.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolutely. It has been a pleasure visiting with you all today. Please, please, please get the book. It is The Many Facets of a Star, Purifying Truths. You can find it on Amazon. Please visit the website. I'm doing many things to illuminate the world. Even have a podcast called Purifying Truths. The website is www.facetsofastar.com. If you're on social media, so am I. Connect with me at Facets of a Star on Facebook and Instagram. Be blessed and shine bright.
Thank you so much, Amelia. As she said, please reach out to Amazon, buy the book. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And you know what? Be a gift for another person. Buy
Yes.
two and give one. I always tell people, pay it forward, because you never know what you might give them that open up their mind or open up whatever they're dealing with in their life, and they need that book. So it's good. That would be a good tool to give for somebody. So give it as a gift, or just say, you know what, I think you need this book. So thank you again, Amelia, for coming on. I welcome you with open arms again. If you ever want to come back, we could discuss more details on some things that you're doing. And if you're writing, I know you're going to be writing more books. I just know that. I just sense that. But you can still come on, and we will be here to promote and support you in every step of the way.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Barbara. It is a pleasure, and I look forward to coming back again and again.
Thank you. You have a wonderful Thursday and the rest of your weekend. And again, everybody, please reach out and buy the book. Can you hold that book up one more time for him? One more time.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. You got all the information. You met this wonderful queen. Support, and just everybody, like I always say, make sure that you understand that your story makes you not a victim, but victorious in life.
Victor. Yes.
Victor. Yes. Ooh, I just love bringing on the queens, the queens, the queens, the queens. But thank you. Please reach out to Amelia. I will make sure I put her information on social media, on my posts, on my platforms. I love, like I said, to be able to give the visibility for individuals that are just creating that impact. And if you want to be on the show, I like you say, you've been seeing a lot of authors come on, speakers, coaches. That's what I've been looking for. I mean, anything that that's going to create it, that you doing something special in the world, and that you have that purpose. I want you to come and reach out to me, and let's have that talk on the show. And I welcome you with open arms to be a guest. With that said, you will see us tomorrow. Woo! We have a whole hour of co-authors. This is going to be, I think this is the last Friday. I'm going to be crying because I really love interviewing these wonderful people headed up by Pastor Paulette. She has been the visionary of the book that's coming out in November, the first weekend of the month of November. So we've been interviewing and talking and getting to know a lot of her authors in her book. And tomorrow we're going to have 3 more co-authors coming on to get to know them. So with that, as I always say, remember who you are and how important you are in this world, that you have a purpose. Your PPP, yes, your PPD, purpose, passion, and drive in your life that makes you and molds you, and that you become that person, the individual that creates an positive impact, not in just yourself, but it overflows into other people's lives. I will see you. Yes, I will see you tomorrow morning, same time, same station. Take care and shine like that diamond, as I always say.